Welcome to the 6-Minute Stretch Challenge number 11, where we will be exploring the concept of hardiness as a tool to increase your bounce back factor. Now, to frame why this is such an important topic, I actually want to start with a quick quote. It's a headline from a recent USA Today article, and the headline read, "Burnout is officially a medical condition," and that was according to the World Health Organization. But when you think of burnout, you ask yourself, what does that mean? Well, it went on to describe burnout as a state of emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion that's caused by excessive, prolonged stress. It often occurs when we feel overwhelmed, emotionally drained, and unable to meet the constant demands going on around us. And as that stress continues, burnout happens because we start to lose interest and motivation. We've got feelings of energy depletion, sheer exhaustion, and here's the risk. You start to have mental distance from your job, and you start to increase amounts of negativism or cynicism and reducing your contributions. When you think about this description, now it's time to ask yourself the question, do you have employees who are burnt out? Are you? And what are the risks of a yes answer to both our personal and our professional lives? Now, to combat that risk, we would like to take an opportunity in this stretch to look at the concept of hardiness as a framework or a tool that can help. And as we think about that, it begins with defining the concept of hardiness, right? So as always, we like to go to the dictionary definition. And if you look up hardiness as a noun, it says it's the ability to endure difficult conditions, or we would say being capable of enduring things like fatigue, hardship, or exposure to stress. Now, based on 30 years of research by Dr. Paul Bartone and Dr. Stephen Stein, essentially here's what we know. Hardy individuals have some unique things about them. We know that they have fewer life, work, and interpersonal stressors. They have more adaptive coping skills, frequently display things like flexibility and adaptability. They are generally capable of more satisfaction in their lives, personal growth, more engagement, and more happiness. They perform better when faced with stress, and turns out they are more effective leaders. And if you look at this list, our question to you is, which of these would you like to see more in your organization or in yourself? I'm hoping you say all of the above. And if you do, what we would like to do is take you through a brief overview of a tool called the HRG. It measures hardiness with 3 C's of resilience. Now, before I show you the tool, it is important that I share a quick quote with you to make sure that we get you on the right path. Now, Helen Keller is one of my favorite people to quote. I love all of the things that she says, but one of my favorites is when she said, keep in mind that the marvelous richness of human experience would lose something of rewarding joy if there were no limitations to overcome. That hilltop hour would not be half so wonderful if there were no dark valleys to traverse. Being hardy does not mean being impervious to stress or being someone who can eliminate it from their lives. On the contrary, it is so much more about somebody learning what to do with stress and treating it as a partner on the path to productive life outcomes. We often see stress as negative, but what we would like you to consider is the undeniable link between stress and success, which leads us to a tool that helps you build resilience. So here's what the HRG looks like. It's actually an assessment tool. It takes very few minutes. It's like 8 to 10 minutes. It's not long, but it actually measures the concept of hardiness on 3 distinct levels. The first one is challenge. The second one is control, and the third one is commitment. And essentially the tool does a really good job of giving you a baseline assessment of where your usage is in these 3 areas of hardiness, and it gives you strategies for how to grow. If we look at each of those separately, let's get you started thinking about where are you? Because that first C of challenge is really about seeing things that are changing or novelty experiences in your life as exciting and as opportunities for you to learn something new and to grow. If you are hearing that description and you think, oh yeah, I do, I really get excited by new things, you probably trend high in the concept of challenge and are likely able to be more resilient to new things. But if you don't like those new changes and novelty is something that you like to avoid, you would trend low in challenge and are likely someone who maybe has a little bit harder time being resilient. The second C is the C of control. And this is where we really have a sense of self-efficacy or a belief that we can influence the outcomes that we are a part of. Again, think about why this is so important to bouncing back. If I feel like no matter what you give me, I will do something that influences the outcome towards something that I can appreciate or be happy to be a part of, then you likely are high in control and probably can bounce back again when things are stressing. If you are someone who doesn't feel like you have control and you always lament to more of a mindset of, I can't do anything about it anyway, other people are going to make that decision, you likely are someone who's low in control and may have a harder time bouncing back. The last C is commitment. And commitment is really measuring your tendencies to be engaged and also see the things you're doing as interesting and meaningful. And the goal is to embody all three of those and work the muscles in each to create strong moments so that when adversity comes, you can really bounce back. So this week's challenge is just to consider, where are you in each of these three C's? So we have a resource sheet that we have accompanied with this 6-minute stretch that shows you low, moderate, and high gauges. And your job is going to be to assess where you are at, knowing that in the coming weeks, we're going to dive into all three of these elements of resilience and give you some strategies for growth. So for this week, your challenge starts as an individual by doing that self-assessment where your existing levels of hardiness are, so that then you can start to create strategies as we give you depths in the coming stretches 12, 13, and 14. And then you have to grow as an individual by having other people watch this video and challenging them to expand their reach as well. But remember to stay tuned for stretch number 12, because that's where we're going to explore the hardiness factor challenge. So with that, it's go time. Good luck.